it gives a person a mindset of multiple ways to attack an opponent, options if a fight or the ebb and flow of the fight goes beyond fists, if it goes beyond kicks, if it starts going to, I'm on the ground, I'm on my back, he's on top of me, I can still block, defend, trap an arm, and maybe pop your elbow out of socket. You understand what I'm trying to say? I can still break your arm. I can put you in a choke from off my back, and it's seemingly a bad position for me to be in, but I can use that bad position and turn the tables against you and put you in a bind. Okay, so it does have its usefulness, but when do you know when to transition? Get you a foundation. I would say anybody, even if you want to become a mixed martial artist. Well, do you want to be a mixed martial artist for self-defense? It makes no sense. If you want to be a mixed martial artist because you want to be a prize fighter and you want to join the UFC or any one of these type of MMA promotions, then of course, there's no way you'll just make it just on karate or just on boxing or just on wrestling or whatever else, because you have to mix the things. You have to incorporate those things. But to sit back and say that Taekwondo is useless or Wing Chun is useless or Shotokan is useless, that's not true. Because once again, those are valid methods of self-defense. First of all, if you're dealing with multiple attackers, you will be a fool to try to get on your back and go multiple attackers to come attack you. In a one-on-one fight, that's possible. But against multiple attackers, you really don't want to go to the ground. And if all you've been trained is one-on-one MMA style, and you have no traditional karate, no traditional boxing, no traditional wrestling, and even then, wrestling is not going to do that well against multiple attackers either. So at a certain point, a wrestler or a grappler going to have to learn how to strike. He's going to have to learn how to throw hands, elbows, knees, feet. Real talk. There's no way around it. But at the end of the day, there's a discipline that comes along with boxing. There's a discipline that comes along with karate. There's a discipline that comes along with the Chinese martial arts and the Filipino martial arts, Muay Thai even. You know, there is a discipline that goes along with that. It's a mindset, and that's what I'm really trying to express. Okay, so again, if you want to be a prize fighter, yes, but at the end of the day, that in and of itself is a sport. And once again, if you did want to become a mixed martial artist and you want to become a prize fighter, I still say get you at least a year or two in boxing at the amateur level so that you learn how to take a punch to the face and you don't lose your cool or you don't come unraveled, that you can still focus and you can still regroup. It's not such a shock to you. Because you got some bad dudes that's 8th degree black belts, haven't been punched in the face in years. But what happens when they finally get popped in the face one good one? They don't know how to deal with getting hit in the face. They got a glass jaw. They don't know how to take a punch because they haven't been trained how to take a punch or how to roll with the punch or how just one slight movement can take something off of it, you know, and it may buckle you, but you won't be afraid to get hit in the face because you understand you can get hit in the face several times and still come back and whoop somebody's ass. Okay. Now, also, MMA ain't as great as people think it is. I know it's the darling right now, but the buzz is dying down. You gotta understand, MMA had its apex from like about '09 to about 2011. That's when it was its hottest and won a lot of people over. Even, people that, I don't mess with that, man, but they started having to watch it because you started seeing some damn good fighters, because you had a lot of the people that became the early stars, the early heroes, were still kind of in the twilight of their career. You had guys like Rampage still out there on the scene, Kevin Randleman. You still had Tito Ortiz. You had old boy Chuck Liddell. You had Forrest Griffin. You had Richie Franklin coming up. You had BJ Penn out there. You had GSP. What's the boy Matt Serra? You had lots of people. Sean Shirk. You had Matt Hughes. You had the Gracies was still somewhat of a force to be reckoned with. Anderson Silva. And then you had young guys coming up. But see, look. All the older names, all the bigger names started losing and retiring and fading out, and then there was just a couple of people, Then you had guys like Ben Henderson, Frankie Edgar coming along, but then they've taken defeats. It's and losing an MMA match does not mean that your career is over. Again, there's so many more ways to lose. I just did the thing about the message to the heavyweight division, and I said that you got guys like Muhammad Ali, who's considered the greatest of all time. He had at least 5 losses on his career, I think maybe 6. So at the end of the day, you got guys that had 60 fights and have lost more than 2 times. And if this era is considered weaker than times past, when boxing was in its heyday, then how in the world do you expect to go and be 35-0 or have 50 fights and no losses? It's, we got one guy that's chasing that right now. And, hey, good luck to you. But at the end of the day, that's not the end all be all. If you were to lose one, but you went out there and you avenged your losses and you still had a stellar career, nobody's going to knock on you. Yeah, we want to strive for perfection, but how often do we see perfection? Once every blue moon. About the closest thing you'll see to perfection was probably Michael Jordan, because every finals that he played in, he won. If he got all the way there, he finished the doggone thing and he got that victory. Is either all the way or not at all. So you can still say, well, hey, he had a stellar career. But that's a rarity. Name any other dominant athlete that was the leader of his team did perfect like that in the championship game and played in 6 of them. So, it's nothing wrong with losing one here or there. That's not the end of everything. From a standpoint of marketability, though, they trying to push this stuff where, we want this undefeated prospect and all that, because, again, they want ratings and you can earn more money. But since UFC and MMA is the type of sport where, you're doing more than just throwing punches, there's even more ways for you to lose. So it's almost impossible for somebody to win 30, 40 fights and be undefeated. You talking about half of that. If you win like 6, 7 fights in a row, you're a beast in MMA. It's not like, I think Anderson Silva is like the record holder at the time. I think he had like 15 title defenses. He went like 6, 7 years without a loss. Something on that note. And just as a note, it wasn't like he had never lost before he had his recent losses. He lost before in his career, but once he really got a grasp of things, he went on a nice run. And right now, the only other guy that's on a run that can anywhere close to rivaling that is John Jones. But let's look at this a little bit deeper, because I made a comment in my last video in Message to the Heavyweight Division where I said that, if you really want to resurrect boxing, you just got to start supporting the fighters. You got to get to know them. I mean, it's just a situation. It's not the 90s anymore. You know, the level of competition at present day is promising. But 2 years ago,